In light of recent events, it appears as if the zombie apocalypse has already arrived, just in a way that nobody predicted. For years and years, people thought it would be this strange outbreak that would affect 99% of the population. They would become these shambling husks and just overwhelm you in numbers, and if they caught you and bit you, well, that was your end. Apparently, the reality is 180 degrees different. That is not going to be 99% of the population. It's going to be a small fraction that are going to wake up one day having completely lost all sense of who or what they are, and they're going to go find a random ballistic weapon, and they're going to go into random places and start shooting. That's the new zombie apocalypse. Pray for Texas. They've just got all sorts of things going on. I know it goes on everywhere, but it just seems like one after the other has hit that place, and they need your prayers. But real quick, as always, I want to be diligent, especially on Sunday. Say thank you to everyone who shows up here down in the comment section. I know we disagree on a lot of things, but if we can have a cordial, open conversation and lay it all out in truth, I think we can move forward together and find some solutions, find some maybe not so perfect solutions, but ways to keep things going, so to speak. Those of you who have joined us over Patreon, though, know that over there, we take the gloves off. We don't worry about hurting people's feelings. We can do that because we've partnered with Vimeo. It's not free, but they're private servers. You don't have to pay for Vimeo, I do. And over there, we don't have Google's prying eyes. So for $1 per month, even less if you sign up for an entire year, fully refundable first 90 days, you can join us there and have a true, as things used to be, adult conversation without having to worry about the censors. Now, I haven't mentioned these folks in quite a while. Lisa Haven, Justice Knight, they are the stuffed olives in your dirty martini. They absolutely make your day much better than it would have been otherwise. They have a brand new video out. They each have there's Restricted Republic, there's Justice Knight has a channel, Lisa Haven has a channel, plus they have their combo channel, We're Forked Up, where they go out and just have a real good time, an authentic time as a normal couple would, and have food together and review the restaurants. It's actually incredible. They're at a place in their most recent video where they have a lot of different things, but they have a very strange conversation about the dangers of strawberries and how adding certain meats into your diet might actually make you more healthy. It's exactly the opposite of what we've been taught. It's the most recent one is titled Beer and Botox. It's, of course, at their channel We're Forked Up. Beer and Botox, the craziest reverse speakeasy you've ever seen. And they have these bruschetta boards and drinks, but very strangely, later on in the video, they talk about the dangers of strawberries and eating strawberries and what that could lead to, especially in men, and conversely, the benefits of having things like Italian sausage and meatballs and what that can do for you. So check out the video. It's a very interesting conversation. This is, of course, their website, We're Forked Up, and you can catch all of their content here, images and photo gallery, the whole bit. Sign up here. Trust me, this is definitely going to be something you want to have be part of your day as a morale booster. And also, real quick, I want to give a big shout out to Southern Prepper One. I've talked about him before, former Army, military guy. Great video recently where he's talking about why you need to get prepped up by June 1 for sure. He does a review of this thing, this Mango Power E706. It's a portable power station. Makes a great comment in it about having multiple small things versus one large thing as a survival strategy, and that, of course, is right here. Southern Prepper 1. He actually also provides you with a list of all of the different things that he recommends at Practical Survival at Amazon. This is absolutely spectacular advice for what's coming. It really is. So just wanted to give both those folks a shout out. Southern Prepper 1, We're Forked Up, Lisa Haven, Justice Knight. We all need to have a morale boost once in a while. We all need to sit back and laugh and just deal with life as it comes, because, I'm telling you, it is just one after the other. There's, of course, this is just today. Now, this isn't what happened yesterday. 7 dead after car plows into people in front of a Texas shelter housing migrants. And we're going to talk about this idea about shelters, because some people have clapped back at something that I have alleged, and they've said, Florida Maquis, you shouldn't suggest that. You should never suggest doing this particular thing because it's terrible. It's risky behavior. Well, risky behavior is relative. It truly is. This was, of course, yesterday, the mall shooting. And then this was about a couple weeks, a month ago. Not even that, just a few days before. The guy that was out in his front yard and shooting off at the middle of the night, and people asked him to be quiet, and he went over and shot him. I just, if the Walking Dead had the zombie apocalypse starting in Atlanta, maybe they were just off a little bit. Maybe it's Dallas. So keep them folks out in your prayers. And to give you an idea, defining a mass shooting as 4 or more people hit by one shooter, more mass shootings than days in 2023. 189 of them. And of those 189, 131, 4 or more people wounded or killed. You see, this is coming. And it's coming in a big way. That eventually there's going to be a crescendo of it. That some people are finally eventually going to, after seeing it every single day, day after day after day after day, and that's what's coming. Because you can't predict it. You can't predict it. You can't stop. I mean, you can try to. You cannot predict it. And to say that you can stop it with this, stop it with that, stop it with the other. One of the hallmarks of the mentally ill is that they don't seek help because they don't know they're mentally ill. You need other people stepping in. And that's where you get all the pushbacks like, well, nobody else should take away anybody else's this. Well, you can't count on the mentally ill person to report themselves as mentally ill. Now, this idea about economic collapse preparation I have put forth, especially over Patreon, some very unconventional ideas. And it's caused some pushback. People have said, Florida Maquis, you've suggested some very immoral things. Yes. Given the modern context of morality, probably so. But especially when it comes to my female viewers, there are things that are far riskier than certain advice I've given about how to protect yourself. Of course, be able to use a weapon if you need to. Be able to recognize a zombie in the making. A future zombie, so to speak, and get the heck away. I've made this allegation that perhaps finding someone, perhaps much older, might be a good strategy. And people said, Florida Maquis, especially with the whole idea of harlotry or prostitution or whatever, that's risky behavior. You know what the most risky behavior is? Being homeless, being in a FEMA shelter, being in a women's homeless shelter, living in your car, being indigent and transient. Okay? Those are the most risky behaviors. You do not get more risky than that. Anything that is inside of that is a better choice. Anything that keeps a roof over your head, anything that fresh water, place to bathe, sanitary conditions, food to eat. See, in the coming zombie apocalypse, the one that we're living in right now, unlike being trapped out in the woods, when you're trapped out in the woods, you're lost out in the woods, you probably want to find a water source. That's probably going to be your number one thing. Well, that's not going to be a real huge issue in the modern context of zombie apocalypse, giant air quotes. Shelter. Not being homeless. Not being in a government shelter. Not being in a women or homeless shelter. Living in your car. Not having a place to stay. Ideally, a place of your own, yes. But the worst decision you can make puts you on the street. Any decision, no matter how moral it might seem, if it puts you on the street, if you can't pay rent, if you can't find a place, a warm bed somewhere, that's the wrong decision. There's a lot of and this was the biggest point I was trying to make. There's a lot of information on YouTube that is really wrong about this romanticized notion of tactical camping, or loading up everything in a backpack and moving from place to place, or living with groups of people in your car, or people going off grid, their tiny houses, all this kind of stuff. It is incredibly, incredibly risky. For a single guy, it's a completely different calculation. For a single woman, especially older women, it is insanely dangerous to go live that life. Even myself, as an older guy, it would be far riskier for me to try that now than when I was, say, in my 20s. Because you can be like the heroes in the video games when you're in your 20s. When you're older, and especially, and I don't mean to sound sexist, but this is the reality, make decisions based on what puts a roof over your head. Even if for a while, even if for a time, it's not your particular roof, but it's a roof, make that decision first. And this is where I'm probably going to lose a lot of you, especially because a lot of guys are going to probably type on this. But if I had a choice, if it came down to being evicted and being homeless and not having a place to stay, or selling the guns, and that keeps me in a place to stay for another month or 2 months or 3 months, depending on what I had to sell, I sell the guns. I sell the guns, I get the cash, I pay the bills, I keep the roof over my head. I know a lot of you are like, no, I'd rather be homeless with a gun. That's absolutely, you got to sleep sometime. You got to use the facility sometime. And if you be homeless long enough, somebody's going to come take them from you. Mark my words. Somebody's going to come take them from you. If you're transient, if you're indigent, no place to stay, or they won't even be allowed in homeless shelters or women's shelters or FEMA shelters. So you can kiss that idea goodbye. There's people out there that decided to go, they're going to go live in storage units. Or the worst thing are these tiny houses. The worst thing out there. You know, this is an artist's representation of a survival post-apocalypse, where there's fallen down building, half supported. There's apparently somebody's got some candles or lamps lit or whatever, a little sign, home sweet home in front. You know, if there was absolutely no other choice whatsoever, yeah, this would be better than sleeping out on the ground. But in the modern world right now, I give this advice, same advice to any member of my family. There is no morality that leads you to sleep in a car. There is no morality that leads you to go to a FEMA shelter. Do whatever you need to do, because it's going to get nothing but worse. Mark my words on this, because it's starting to spiral now. You know, it's really funny. I remember the lead up to the 2016 elections, and what was being talked about in the debates right up before the election had nothing to do with what was going on in late 2014 and 2015, the years before. Well, now here we are in, almost mid 23. You know, as this starts to spiral out of control, by next holiday season, early 24, what we're talking about as election year issues might be completely different than what we're talking about now. The way this is going. We got it wrong. We got it wrong. It's just going to be one of those random things. You're going to be shopping somewhere. You're going to be out doing just your normal thing, and all of a sudden you're going to hear pop, 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 ting, 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 ting. Just like they said in Dallas. And you're never going to know what direction it's coming from. And I don't care how good you are with a ballistic weapon. I don't care how good you are. If somebody already has theirs out and they already are aiming and already are prepared to go to guns, and you've got your hands full of McDonald's, or you're holding clothes for your girlfriend while she's changing or she's buying something new, or you're at the mall walking around looking at things and you don't know what direction it's coming from because of the echo, you're at a huge disadvantage. I don't care if you're armed or not. And that's the true terrifying nature of the zombie apocalypse. It really is. This is Day of the Dead, 1985. I got it right. God bless. Like, share, subscribe. Have a great week. See you next time.